right, y'all, so let's talk about this. So I saw an interview with Hannah Gabriel's post Clarissa Shields versus K. Scott. So in this interview, Hannah Gabriel did what she always does. She may be a victim of the things that she say, but she's a victim of her own actions. She's playing the pity party. She's pointing fingers and she's putting blame on everybody. Now, I'm not saying to you that when a person is being interviewed that your job is to argue, be disrespectful. But I am saying you have a responsibility to make points. Okay? When a person makes allegations, make claims that they can't prove. And when they're just not using common sense, despite how they may feel. An example, she says Clarissa knows she won't beat her in the rematch, so she's dodging her. Clarissa is basically the reason that people don't want to fight her because she's lying and spreading lies that she is a cheater. She also throws Franchon, Cruz Dezern in that mix and say that she's another one and they threw her lowball offers and they say one thing and do something else. Now, the funny thing about everything that she said, she made excuses about why she lost to Clarissa the first fight. The thing I find really funny is she pointed the finger at everybody except for herself. First off, you as an interviewer. Now, he just basically let her talk and say what she's going to say. He shook his head to everything she said. He didn't question anything. It's not Clarissa who did the VADA testing and found you dirty. Clarissa doesn't make decisions for VADA. What they found in your system led them to suspend you. You got a ban. What did that have to do with Clarissa? Clarissa didn't go and rub cream on your hands. You did. So for you to say Clarissa's lying, what you should be saying is Clarissa is repeating what VADA said. So if Clarissa's lying, that means VADA's lying. It would be one thing if VADA found you to be clean, and then Clarissa just pulled out and said, I believe she's dirty. Her words make no sense. And she talks about how difficult it is for her to get a fight. And she's trying. She's done nothing since she's been out. Since she's been free. Out off of her bed. Here's my thing. You just walk into a title shot because you're Hannah Gabriel's. Hannah Gabriel's is a thing of the past. She's 43 years old right now, right? If Clarissa fights her, let me explain something to you. Clarissa will wipe the freaking floor with this chick. I looked at Hannah Gabriel's last 3 fights online, and she's not as good now as she was then. Of course, that's the narrative she's trying to push, though. Clarissa is way better now than she ever was. The thing that I find really crazy is she tried to make it sound like she had a disadvantage going against Clarissa. Then she talked about how she had a baby, she didn't have time. She made every excuse. Listen, let me give you a fact that people make excuses about, but they didn't give Clarissa the same benefit of a doubt. When they fought the first time, Hannah Gabriel's was 35 years old. Clarissa was only 23. She was 5-0. Hannah Gabriel's was 18 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Not only did people, let's make a comparison. Let me show you hypocrisy at its highest form. Not only when Canelo fought 36, 30, 37, or whatever it was, 37, 38 years, 36, 37-year-old Floyd Mayweather. Not only was he 23, he had over 40 fights. Hannah Gabriel's, okay, had more than two. She had more fights than Clarissa. 18 compared to 5. Actually 19. Well 20. Because she was 18, 1-1. So she had 20 fights compared to Clarissa's 5. Okay? I don't want to hear about lack of amateur experience, especially for a 35-year-old. This is the nod you give older fighters over the younger ones when you want to make excuses for them, because what you're saying is, well, the brain isn't fully developed by 25 and below. So what happens is, the person that's older can think, stop it. Hannah Gabriel's is trying to make herself relevant again. She's talking about the past. She's dwelling on the past. And then she goes, people are starting to wake up and see the lies being... Nobody's waking up to see shit other than they just waking up to see that behind that little pretty smile is a fucking lying or delusional woman. Because first off, nobody's talking about this other than Hannah Gabriel's. She was given a platform. I don't remember the guy's name, but just watched it this morning. She was given a platform to speak her piece. And with all of the talking that she's doing, and she's talking about Clarissa Shields purposely didn't want to fight her, and she's the reason they suspended her to protect Clarissa. I mean, this woman is talking crazy. She thinks she's going to get under Clarissa's skin. She said that she talked to Clarissa, and Clarissa said if she feels enough pity for her, maybe she'll fight her. Here's the deal. Danielle Perkins will beat the brakes off of Hannah Gabriel's. Now, Hannah Gabriel's was the champion at 175 pounds when they were supposed to fight before she popped dirty. Now she said she can't fight at 175 pounds because she walks around, I think she said 165 or something like that. Okay, cool. Clarissa's fighting at 160 pounds. If Clarissa fights Hannah Gabriel's anytime, if at all, what's going to be said now? Oh, she's fighting another old chick. Age ain't got shit to do with nothing if you still got them skills. It's simple. Plain and simple. Also, there's a female, I don't remember her name, at 160 pounds. I'm seeing videos, people talking about that chick would beat Clarissa. Oh, yo, she nice. Remember how this guy had only 11 fights? And he was supposed to beat Terrence Crawford, and everybody lied and tried to make him be better than what he is. This chick only has 5 fights. If Clarissa goes and she beats this chick's ass and take her belts, which she should, nobody cares about this. Yo, she only got 5 fights. Example, Clarissa only had 5 fights when she fought against Hannah Gabriel's and was only 23 years old. That number doesn't bother me, but it's something about the number 23 that people love to bring up and make an excuse for fighters that is that age when they like that fighter, when they want that fighter to win, and they make excuses for them. But Clarissa basically was doing nothing but fighting the best fighters that she can fight, just like any other fighter out there. If you look at all these weight classes, who's the killers in women's boxing? Who are these big hungry sharks? Man, you just got some decent boxers, a few that's good, and just basically a bunch of filler fighters in these divisions. What is she supposed to do? What is any of them supposed to do other than fight? Now, here's the thing. She already beat Hannah Gabriel's. Hannah Gabriel's is 35 then. She's 43 now. Okay? What does Shields gain right now? Other than if she didn't have an opponent. And she goes, you know what? Let me beat up on her. We already know what the excuse is going to be. The funny thing is Hannah Gabriel's is talking as if she's basically telling you she's better now than she was then. Now she know not to make certain mistakes. She talked about the woman that knocked her out with one punch. And I'm sitting here going, just listen to your own words. You're trying, like I said, to make yourself relevant. Your ship has come and it's gone. The way you're trying to make noise, this isn't the way to do it. I guess she's desperate and she doesn't know what else to do. Clarissa can't influence anybody to not fight you. And anybody else that's saying they don't want to fight you, according to you, maybe it's because they don't see you as a formidable opponent. And then two, there's no value in your name. She's talking about what she's worth based on what? On what? Now, if you were getting lowball offers and then you claim they made you one offer, then she talked about when Clarissa said she'll give any girl $100,000, right, to fight her, if they wanted to, see if they could beat her. This was like open to the public. Like, this had nothing to do with this. If she's talking about actual legit opponents, okay, this was to these big mouth motherfuckers that be running their mouth. And yeah, like, okay, since y'all think it's easy and y'all talking $100,000, put your money where your mouth is. She said they offered her less than that, right? And she's worth more than that. No, okay, I can understand the fact that, now she said, wait, before I say that, she said if they continue to stick with the lowball offer, basically, this is my words, but this is what she's basically saying. I'm paraphrasing, but she said she respected. You know why? Why? After all the complaining, you know why you respect it? Because the truth of the matter is, you can't even get that to fight another fighter that doesn't even have a name. So if nobody is trying to book fights with you, it's because your name has no value to it. How pretty you are has nothing to do with what you bring to the sport. Has nothing to do with it. That's these simps that sit up and talk about everything that has nothing to do with why a fight should happen. I have no doubt Clarissa would beat the living shit out of Hannah Gabriel. Then she says Clarissa can't punch, she can't knock anybody. She's trying. See, you're going about it the wrong way. What you're doing, this is a cry for help. This is a cry for attention. And your little simple-minded fanboys will come in the comment sections and agree with you and tell you how beautiful you are. Like, fuck your husband. I'm just a little desperate monkey out here trying to get lucky. Pretty much. Okay, but that's about all you're going to accomplish. You talking about what you accomplished. And I always liked Hannah Gabriel as a fighter. I always thought she was a good fighter. The crazy part about your career, you talk about knocking Clarissa Shields down with a flash punch more than you talk about any titles you've won or anything else you've ever done. If your name comes up and people mention you fighting Clarissa, that's all they talk about. But you basically got your ass whipped for the rest of the fight. And you lost. It's like I always used to say back in the day. People talk about that type of incident with Hannah Gabriel's knocking Shields down, right? Certain things, they talk about things like that. Like when Allen Iverson shook Michael Jordan that time. And they talked about that shit like if you didn't know, you think that Jordan went there and got his ass whooped and the 76ers destroyed the Bulls. Well, basically, he got a good move off. Jordan scored 35 points. Jordan was shaking everybody all night long. All right, and not only that, the Bulls won that game. And he also outplayed, Iverson or whoever else, whatever. But here's my point. They focus on that move. Why? It's because that's Jordan's greatness. You could do that shit on anybody else, but the fact that you shook Jordan, they make it like Jordan is so good, he's not even human to people. He shook Jordan? He could have did it to anybody else, but the fact that it was Jordan. It's the same thing. And the thing is, they make it sound like she had Clarissa on wobbly legs, and Clarissa was it was just a simple, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Fuck. She got right back up. She wasn't staggering, none of that. It's just a flash knockdown. But it's boxing. Can't take it away from her. She scored a knockdown. Now, question. For everybody making a big deal about the knockdown, and including Hannah Gabriel's, would you rather have won the fight or just be satisfied that you scored a flash knockdown? I mean, Muhammad Ali's been knocked down. Ray Robinson's been knocked down. Huh? Pernell Whitaker's been knocked down. Evander Holyfield has been knocked down. Case in point, some of the greatest fighters of all time have been knocked down. In fact, some have been knocked out. And that's all y'all can come up with is she scored a flash knockdown. And as far as Franchon goes, well, here's the thing. Regardless to whatever she dealt with Franchon, Franchon is also fighting at a bigger weight class. So is Franchon going to come down just for the sake of fighting you, Hannah Gabriels? And then, to be honest with you, who really cares? It's not a main event. That's an undercard. Simply because you have been missing in action and nobody's seen anything from you. You come in there, you get your ass whooped by Franchon, you get your ass whooped by Shields, it's going to be ring rust as an excuse. All of the claims about you're a better fighter now, how would you even fucking know? You're not fighting anybody. And like you said, I'm not going to keep sparring and having training camps if I don't have a fight. Right, so how do you know how you're going to respond in that ring when you're not even in there putting your body through the test now? It makes no sense for you to put your body through grueling training camps if you don't have a fight lined up. But case in point, what you're actually saying is this: I can't get a fight because I went out and I popped dirty. And at the same time, I'm crying for Clarissa or Franchon, but mainly Clarissa, to throw me a bone. But at the same time, I'm trying to bite the hand that I'm asking to feed me. That's what you're basically doing. You don't have to like her. She don't have to like you. And this is the fight business. But the way you're going about it is the listeners who believe you have to be pretty goddamn dumb to believe that. Anything that's coming out of your mouth. You talking about you showed Clarissa the papers. I don't care what you did. I don't care what you said. Clarissa is not the one who banned you. She has no power to ban you. And pretty much nobody told you to go put cream on your hand that you claim you used. You're saying that you might have used the cream, but you could have also used something else as well. And regardless, it doesn't matter. That had nothing to do with Clarissa. And check this out. The fact that Clarissa already beat you, she already kicked your ass. What's going to happen now that you're 43? Haven't been fighting. Guarantee you won't be in the type of condition you think you're in. And pretty much Clarissa's been consistent. This woman has been up in weight, down in weight. See how strong she looked at 160 pounds. So if you walk around at 165, right, you could drop 5 pounds and go down, and she would destroy you. And it will just be another excuse as to why you lost. I don't see people being afraid of you, Hannah. I see people looking at you like you're a pest. You just keep complaining and pointing a finger. And if you think that this is the way, the desperate call for help to try to get a fight, you're trying to get a payday. We're not stupid, Hannah. You're trying to get a payday, and you know who that payday is going to come against. You know this. Because everything that you're saying and pointing blame, not once did I hear you say, you know what, that was my stupidity. I should have put gloves on before I put the cream on my dogs. Not once did I ever hear you say, look, we fought fair and square. She won. I just want a rematch. I know I still got it in me. And I want to prove that. But plain and simple, I'm a fighter and I work my way up the ladder. See, the problem is your clock is ticking faster than everybody else's because of your age right now. When the last time you've been punched in your chin? When the last time you've been hit to the body? And all that talking about Clarissa can't knock nobody out and all the things you say, it doesn't make a difference what you say. It doesn't make a difference what you say. Case in point, she don't owe you anything. And the fight wasn't even close. You just scored a flash knockdown. That's it. You make it sound like y'all went there and fought tooth and nail and you barely, she squeezed off. No, she completely outclassed you. And this was a 23-year-old woman with 5 pro fights versus your 18, your 20. And I don't care about your lack of not having an extensive amateur career, whatever. That's a you problem. That's a you problem. Lomachenko had a whole bunch of amateur fights. Only had, what, 1 or 2 pro fights when he fought Gary Russell, and Gary Russell thought it was a joke. And he went in and he beat the shot of Gary Russell. And then they never had a rematch. I don't know why. Don't know who didn't want to fight or if it was the... I don't know, but it never happened. But you went there and got your ass whooped by a female that only had 5 pro fights. Now, the same way, you lost to a woman that only had 5 pro fights, as opposed to this chick right now, whatever her name is, that's holding the belt at 160 pounds and only has 5 pro fights. See, nobody made any excuses, even for Clarissa to get knocked down. These haters wouldn't even say, hey, she got knocked down, but she got right back up and she dominated the rest of that fight. I mean, they said it when Tyson Fury got knocked down by Deontay Wilder, then got up and dominated the rest of the round. But no, because it's Clarissa. We already know what this is. But you're making yourself sound desperate, and nobody cares about all of that crying and complaining about, you getting lowball offers and all of that stuff and all this victim. You seem like a very self-centered person that think everything's supposed to happen the way that you want it to, even though you don't have the ability to attract people to your fights. No, you attract them to you physically, not to your fights. Baumgartner has the same problem. Yeah, men will glaze her and talk about how fine she is, but they're not coming out to her fights. She can't sell, but she can fight. She's doing the same thing you're doing. Clarissa, but y'all not even in the same weight class. And the thing about it is, if you can't even get a fight with anybody, then all this greatness that you're talking about within yourself, maybe it's because you're not as good as you think you are. Or you're definitely not as good as you once was. So for you to say Clarissa Shields is afraid of you, she's ducking you, and you're acting like it's like you want to give her an ultimatum, but you can't. But you're trying to make it seem like you say, if the fight don't happen, it's not because of me. You got your ass kicked once already. You won't be satisfied until she goes in there and beat that pretty face up badly. Make your nose even more crooked, or do something that you don't get it. Pointing the fingers at everybody else. That's what the whole interview was. Talked about how they ruined your boxing career. I mean, all this, and then you keep saying they. Who are they? What input did you play? I know I've had a police officer lie on me. I've had a person lie on me before. So I know what it's like when somebody lie on you. You want to know what one of the differences is, though? With the exception of one incident where I didn't have written documentation, but that was a police officer. I had to go down there and confront him about getting an addendum done because this officer lied. Okay, because we were hit, me and my sons in the car, and somebody ran a red light and hit us. Not a stop sign, a traffic light. Ran light and hit us. Bam! T-boned us. Totaled my car. And the police talked to them, and I can tell, like I told them, when I said you stood there with them all of this time, so you made your mind up already before you even talked to me about my direction. Because instead of you asking me, what happened, you're telling me, oh, so you were going, no, I wasn't going that way. That's the bullshit they told you. But your car is hit on your drivers, yes, because they came from that way, not that way. And the look on his face, so he was over there instructing them, and he wrote down nothing he said on that report came from me. And that's when my blood just boiled, because I'm like, these motherfuckers are nothing but criminals in a uniform. And the fact that they choose to be like that, and they do the same things when one of them gets smoked. Oh, our lives on it. You put our lives on. No, it's your attitudes. It's your approach to the citizens. You put yourselves in a situation and all that exaggerating. You got a gun, got a raggedy ass dog, got a bulletproof vest, got your buddy that's willing to lie for you. Y'all start drama and all stand back and watch it unfold, and not one of these cowards step in. No, that's not necessary. We're not doing that. Follow the rules. Nope, they just let it happen. And then like cowards, they all resign. When it's something that bad, they all resign because they stood there and took part in it, scared of consequences. This is what you're doing. And the other situations I had proof of. And it's funny how when you have proof, well, you remember now, don't you? You have yet to submit proof. And you talking about you showed some transcript. Okay, the same paperwork that you showed Shields, you showed Nevada testing, right? Or whatever group it was that tested you, and they decided, no, what they found in your system was something you took. And they banned you. Okay, they banned you. Why are you blaming Carissa? Well, she's supposed to go in there and overturn her. She can't. She had no power over that. And regardless to that, what does she have to do with what was found in your system? And you talking about fighting Franchon, both of them will beat your ass. Both of them. The biggest problem that I could see for this woman, if she was to even fight, it doesn't even have to take Clarissa Shields. Hannah Gabriel's, I don't know what her height is, but I know she wears heels because I remember in the face-off, her and Clarissa was the same height, but in the ring, they definitely wasn't the same height. Hannah Gabriel's is someone that physically, she was fighting at a smaller weight. Her body grew into a bigger weight. You can see it even in her face, her neck, her back. She's never been like a really well-conditioned, like a muscle-toned woman. But I'm looking at her and how she fights. I looked at her last 3 fights, and I'm like, first off, what she's talking about in terms of saying she's a better fighter, I don't see how when you haven't fought anybody since those last fights we saw of you. But then 2, just her style overall. When you're a smaller fighter and you go up in weight, and like just say, for example, James Toney as a middleweight. He had speed, he had power, good chin, and he could box. He was a slick boxer. As he went up in weight, James Toney's biggest problem was his conditioning. And he won fights on sheer skill. Just being able to just move and slide. And if he would have kept himself in shape, he would have been like much better than what he was. But that was a problem that he had. Discipline is all a part of the game. When he went up, cruiserweight and all that, whatever, the heavyweight, when he went up to heavyweight, every time James Toney would get hit, I remember like him fighting Sam Peter. When he get hit with a good shot, he's like always off balance. Even if the shot missed, but say hit him in the shoulder, he's getting knocked off balance. He got this pot belly. He's fat. He has no balance. And pretty much he wasn't a natural heavyweight. And with that flat-footed style, right? He was able to beat certain guys. But for the most part, with James Toney, the type of boxer he was is why he was able to not get hit with a lot of shots. But let's just be real, man. There's certain guys he didn't fight, like Lennox Lewis. He didn't get in there with the Klitschko's. Like certain guys he didn't fight. And it's good for him that he didn't fight them. His arms is too short. He has to get close to be effective. And one thing James Toney never had was footwork. So even as a middleweight, when he was more mobile on his feet, but he was always a flat-footed guy, that would have been murder for him, man. And I know all that low dipping he'd been trying to do, but he had the reach to try to get the Klitschko's. It would have been a different fight for him, and his balance was terrible. This is why, like, when you look at certain fighters, you can see what type of fighters would really be a disaster for them, because stylistically, they have too much of a disadvantage. Hannah Gabriel's is the type of, like, her style is more suited for a smaller weight class. So let's just say 154, because that's the weight class that she fought Shields at, right? 154, 160. But bottom line, for her to come back and let's say she fight at 160, cool, because she 165. But what I'm saying is, Father Time or Mother Nature done kicked her in the ass already. I could see it in her last 3 fights. I sat there and I watched them, and I'm like, yeah, Hannah Gabriel's, it's not like you're going to be faster now or you're stronger now. Your body's more defined, your conditioning is, but no, you're not a better fighter now. So therefore, all you do is go in there, get your ass kicked, smile, talk about what I'm 40 such and such years old. What I got the heart to do this. I want to do shit. That now all of a sudden, yeah, all after all of this pointing fingers and accusations. And to be honest with you, Shields could go in there and give you a boxing lesson. Shields is a boxer, puncher, and a pure boxer. Is what she chooses to do. Or she could go in there and just beat the shit out of you. Either way, you're gonna get the sympathy because, oh, she's 43 and man, she didn't want to fight her. And then it would be this whole, she waited for her to get old, which would be so stupid, especially the fact that she already beat you. And again, it wasn't a close fight. You got beat pretty soundly. I mean, when Roy Jones fought against Joe Calzaghe, he dropped Joe Calzaghe in that fight, right? Once Joe got up, Roy didn't capitalize. He did a little cocky ass walk back to his corner, but he didn't capitalize on anything. He capitalized on nothing. He got beat up for the rest of the fight. I remember Alton Murchison was giving him instructions on what to do. And I'm trying, I can't get him, I'm trying, right? Okay. Now, imagine Roy Jones, right? And I'm not going to say now, because and mind you, Joe Calzaghe is like 3 or 4 years, I think he's 4 years younger, 3 or 4 years younger than Roy. But imagine Roy Jones at any point after that loss, 3, 4 years later, 5, 6 years later, talking about, yo, Joe don't want to fight me no more because I dropped him in that first round, and he don't want to see me because I'm better now. And that's what you sound like. That's what you sound like. The only difference is people saw what happened to Roy. Most people don't even remember what happened with you. And this is what makes me laugh when I see people post up that knockdown and then put Claressa Shields gets knocked out. Maybe these are plants. Maybe these are people you know. Who knows? Who cares? I just think that the way you're approaching trying to get a rematch is all wrong. And there's no accountability on your behalf. And for you to sit here and blame you failing the test on Claressa, like literally you're blaming her for your failed test. Your beef is with Nevada. Nevada testing, whatever. Your beef is with whoever tested you. It's not Claressa Shields as far as that goes. You are just trying to get a payday. You want payday. I know. That's all that is. You're trying to get a payday and you just sound desperate. At this point, you are at an age where you can't afford to start from the ground up. You don't have the time to start from the ground up. Put it like that. But in terms of the right thing to do, well, what gives you the right to skip the line? Because pretty much that's what would happen for somebody to put you in a fight with Claressa Shields. And out of your own mouth, you said you can't get fights. People don't want to fight you. And you talked about the lowball offer. So you want to know what that means? You're not worth the money to people that you want. And so, therefore, if nobody's willing to even put you on an undercard, think about it. If they're not even willing to put you on an undercard against somebody, at your age, right, people would use you as a gatekeeper. We got an up-and-coming fighter that's, fighting the same weight class as Hannah Gabriel's. This would be a good win for her to have on her resume, to be a woman that's accomplished like, Hannah Gabriel's, right? That's what they'll do. Your name doesn't ring bells. You're not a household name. This is not she has a whole country behind her. No, you'd have biased people behind you because you're from the same country. That's about it. But I mean, as far as, no, you're not that, your name doesn't ring bells like that. And furthermore, anybody that's telling you that knockdown was like it was something just special, it's called fighting. It happens. But you didn't keep her down. You didn't finish her off, and you never had her wobble. She got hit with a shot, she didn't see it, bam, she went down. She was fine. She looked around like, what the fuck am I doing on the floor? She got up, okay. But look at what happened after that. What happened? So now I know better to do the things I didn't. I should have done things different now and then. And you even admitted in the same interview. This is the thing. She was coming and going. She even admits in the interview. At one point she didn't think she could beat Shields and all this and that. And you understand what I'm saying? Like but the whole thing was everything she was saying. She's speaking as if she was victimized of something. You think she was the 123 and Shields was the older chick. Goddamn, you're 12 years older than this woman. And everything is, this happened to me and that happened to me. And then I had my baby and this happened to me and then that happened to me. And it wasn't fair. And this happened to me and that happened to what? Nobody, hey, listen, a whole lot of people had a rough life, had a worse life than you did. He pointing fingers and bringing in things that have nothing to do with it. The point is y'all got in there, y'all fought, the better woman won. Your name is not what it once was. And only in your head and for the people that remember you. They may have a respect for you, but only in your heads are you still relevant in the sport of boxing. You know what happens when you get to a point where the fight is not there anymore? People make money off watching your old fights and playing your old fights and trying to sell your merch and anything with your likeness, and they make money off of you. If you can't get a fight with anybody else, is it because you're not willing to fight a person for a certain amount of money? Like you have a certain amount that you'll only fight for this, nothing less, right? For this amount or more, nothing less. Maybe sometime, if you're as confident as you say, sometime you got to take that pay cut. Then go out and show everybody. Now, next time, okay, cool, those numbers come up. You know why you're not willing to do that? Because you know, just like I know, and anybody else with any good sense, it's a strong possibility that you'll go in there and get your ass beat, get knocked out by somebody up and coming. And then pretty much you know what's going to happen. Now you're not going to ever get that shot. In fact, if your name held any weight, and you were a good fighter, I loved watching you fight. But if your name held any weight, that same chick Clarissa is talking about at 160 pounds, why don't you and your team try to intercept that fight? Oh, this chick only got 5 fights. This is the same situation with Clarissa, only now Hannah Gabriel's is older. Okay? If that's the case, though, think about this, Hannah. Even with Lauren Price, just to have your name on the resume, I don't think anybody's looking at you the way you're looking at yourself. I don't think anybody's looking at you the way that your fan base, the 5 people that's online keeps that keep pushing that narrative that they don't think that you did it because you're so beautiful. If you could get those fights, just for the sake of here's a chick that only had 5 fights, we could make a storyline out of this. This is like her and Shields all over again. Only this chick got belts too. And she got belts. So they'd use you as a pawn, but it'd be your job to go in there and pull off the upset. Lauren Price, same thing. Okay, Hannah Gabriel's has a respectable name. You want to know what the problem is? If you start talking shit to anybody else, they going to also call you a drug cheat. And like, why would I fight Hannah Gabriel? What has she done? She's been going all this time. For what? You are just trying to get a payday and you're trying to hold on however you can. These are desperate times for you. I see the game. I see what's happening. But I think you're going about it the wrong way. There's probably fights out there for you, but you're not willing to fight for less money. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's your life and that's your call to make. But the same way, you look foolish trying to make Clarissa look like she's scared of you. Or Franchon is scared of you. I mean, hell, why don't you call out Savannah Marshall and y'all can have a fucking battle of the has-beens? And I'm just being straight up honest about it, man. You're not holding any weight anymore. At 43 years old, I don't know when you turn 44, but at 43 years old, for you to make that video and say you can't get fights, And you're blaming Shields because of her saying lies and Franchon and all these things you're saying. That just goes to show you that people don't care about what you've done in the past. They don't care about who you are right now. I mean, Mike Tyson was down there 60 and was able to go in there and fight Jake and get 20 million in one night. And you mean to tell me that nobody else want to fight you? So instead of you pointing the finger trying to say it's Clarissa's fault, no. It's your name. It's who you are. Nobody sees you as a threat. They don't see any value in you anymore. When you were the heavyweight champion, or had a portion of the title, I didn't even know you still boxed. And hardly anybody knew. So when it came up that you guys were going to fight again, there was a little talk about it. And everybody started going, oh, she's the only person that ever knocked Clarissa down. And that's the story they keep bringing up. And then you pop dirty. Even if you didn't pop dirty, the way I see it, Clarissa would have beat your ass, just dusted you off, and you'd have never been heard of again. But the way you're going about this is how you're going to be known. This is how you're going to be known. The woman who's made multiple videos, pointed the finger at everybody else, taking no accountability for her own actions, and whatever she did in the past is outshadowed by the fact she scored a knockdown, a flash knockdown against Clarissa. Other than that, what was the rest of your career like? I mean, what was the rest of that night like? We know who won the fight. What was the rest of your career like? That's your claim to fame, is you knocked her down? Well, just saying, it's a lot of people. In fact, if the roles were reversed and they found something in Clarissa's system, you and everybody else would be saying she's guilty, she popped dirty, or she was cheating, that explains this and that. It's because it's always somebody that's just crossing their fingers wanting to see somebody fail at something. You'd be saying the same things, and you know it, Hannah. It just makes more sense, as far as I'm concerned, that you and your team reach out to somebody else. There's somebody out there that you can get a fight with, somebody out there. So listening to you talk, you can fight either at 160 or 154 still, right? Cool. There's somebody out there. I mean, hell, Natasha Jonas is out there. Natasha Jonas is out there. You know, fighters claim retirement, but then somebody can get... I mean, there's somebody out there. This is what I'm... So you're so fixated on Shields because you know that it's a strong possibility that you'll lose. And instead of you harping on Shields, try to get Natasha Jonas. You understand what I'm saying? Try to get Holly Holmes. Try to get it. Try to work something with people that, hey, maybe me and this person can fight, right? And me and this person can do a little something. You can make some money. You want to try to recapture a certain glory that you had, but what you had was never as high as the level that Shields has had it on. And what you have to learn to deal with is really simple. What happened, happened. Let it go. This is not the way. I don't think you're going to get a fight with anybody going the direction that you're going in. I think your boxing career is done. And if you are going to get a fight, it should be because you're out there. First off, you got to show people something in the gym. Nobody's going to put money into you just because you come back. And especially somebody coming back off of being banned. Come on. It just looks desperate, man. And I really just feel like it was so unnecessary for her to go that route. But that's what she chose to do. Anyways, Clarissa Shields said that the chick that got the belts at 160, she want her. She said that she has 2 weeks to just make the decision if she's going to stay at 175 or stay at 160. Now, she says she know her team want her to stay at 175. But she says she has unfinished business at 160. So pretty much sounds like she wants those belts. And then after that, it would be probably her and Lauren Price, or her and Lauren Price first, or however it goes. But either way, Clarissa's making moves. There is nothing that Hannah Gabriel, anybody is going to say that her. You can say what you want. You can form all these delusions and all, but that woman is doing what she has to do. And The constant bitching and complaining isn't going to change that. It's not going to harm her. It just exposes you guys to be a bunch of has-beens. That's it. And you're trying to live off of the past because you can't, you can't create anything now that's relevant. Like we always, just like, you tell people, stop focusing on the past. Remember we used to do this? Remember how I used to do this and that? And remember, you can't create new great memories now. You have to live off of what happened in the past because you don't know how to create something new now. That's what most people, that's the problem. Playing the pity party is not going to get it done. Case in point. Shields is doing her thing. What's left or whatever, what's available for Hannah Gabriel's, what's on the table for her, according to her, pretty much is nothing. So this is how she's going to be remembered. This is how she's going to go out. Unless somebody feels some type of pity for her, put a card together and throw her on there. But you're not going to make big money. You just don't seem to understand that. The name Hannah Gabriel's does not stop traffic. It does not make all heads bow, any of that. You're just someone that fought. You did what you did, and your time is come and go. That's just what it is. All this hatred and shit that you showing, and all of this trying to make Clarissa look bad, and trying to make Franchon look bad, and all this, she did this and this because of her, this and that. Come on, man. We're grown-ass men and women. Take some accountability. That's all I got for you guys. Catch you guys on the next video.